Hey there, it's your host Dan once again, doing another repair here to the car. Water pump decided to go. Not very hard to do this, but there are a couple things to know. I'm not going to show everything A to Z here because most of the bolts are pretty much, you can see them. But what you need to know to get a water pump off a 3.8 W body is that first off, the power steering pump has to be moved out of the way. And when you look, you can see these holes here in the power steering pump pulley. You rotate the pulley so that that hole is at 12 o'clock and down there at 6 o'clock, and there's going to be two 13mm bolts that hold the power steering pump to the block. You just have to undo those bolts and move that slightly out of the way. Otherwise, there's a bolt down in the corner of the water pump that you would just never get out unless you move that out of the way. Also, since my car is supercharged, there's a pulley that had to be removed, which that pulley is right there where you see that bolt. Pulley's off, but the bolt down there in the water pump, same thing. It's not going to release fully because the pulley's blocking it, so that has to be removed. Once you get the power steering out of the way, that pulley out of the way, if you have a supercharger, all the other bolts are accessible and the water pump comes off pretty easy. One thing in my situation, the bolts that go around the top of the water pump, one of them, when I went to crack it loose, the head of it just sheared right off, left the threaded part stuck in the block. Wasn't too bad, got it out pretty easy with vice grips. But I went to the hardware store and I'm going to replace all 4 of those bolts with brand new grade 8 bolts because I sure don't need the problem where I go to tighten it and the bolt head snaps right off, because then I'd have to undo it and it would just be a big mess. So I've got all the parts I need. Got the thread sealer because the bigger bolts go into the water jacket, seal those up, gasket sealer, new pump, and we're going to wrap it up, put it all back together, get this car back on the road once again. So that's how you get the water pump on and off, those 2 tricks, moving the pulleys out of the way. Also the canister, the overflow that used to be here, I've already pulled that out of the way to give me more access. The fuse box, I kind of pulled that up and out of the way to give me a little more access to as well. Always nice to have more access when you're working on things in a tight space. So that's how you get it done on this. I'm just going to get to wrapping it up. This way I can get my daily driver going again. Thanks for watching.